Join us in here for the first time, team's leading tackler from last week, linebacker Sammy Brown. If y'all would please identify your name and affiliation prior to asking a question so Sammy can begin to get to know you all. We'd greatly appreciate it. Y'all fire away when ready.
Beth Lewis, Fox Carolina. To hear that intro, your performance in this week's game, just how does that feel and what's it been like coming off of this game?
It's really exciting. You know, I've been here since January, so I've had a really good time just learning, going through the whole process of learning the playbook, getting around the guys. So it was really exciting to finally get out on the field and contribute to the team.
It seems kind of crazy to say, but it almost feels like a long time coming in your freshman year.
Yeah, I've been, I had been recruited since my freshman year, so it really has been a long time coming. It had been a long recruiting process. So to finally get the results from the whole recruiting process was really fun.
I saw a picture your mom posted of you with your parents after the game. Just those moments, to be able that you think about it, you've been recruited for so long, it's been part of the process, they helped move you in, to be able to share that moment with them. What are those experiences like for you?
I mean, it's almost surreal. Like, I can remember being a little kid and just dreaming of playing college football like my dad, and finally being in that moment is just almost surreal. It doesn't even feel real.
David Hood with TigerNet.com. Knowing Mike Brown like I do, did he compliment you? Did he try to coach you? Like, kind of what was that first conversation like?
It was a very brief compliment, and then he got into some things that I could work on. He's going to critique me as he is. So.
What's it like having a dad who played college football, and coaches high school football? What's it like having that guy in your corner?
It's a blessing because he's always going to keep me humble. He's going to make sure that I'm not getting ahead of myself. Throughout high school, he was my high school coach, so he never let me get too big for myself through the whole recruiting process. And he was always there to be a coach for me. He was there to make sure that I'm doing the right thing and that I'm in the right place. So it was really good to have him.
John Blount, Post-Courier. I think Dad was saying back in the spring he didn't notice you as much because you were really trying to absorb everything and learn, and then in the fall, everything slowed down for you. So how fast was it really when you first arrived here?
It was a blur, honestly. We got out there in a walkthrough one of the first couple weeks I was there, and it was definitely not a walkthrough, and I had no idea what was going on. I barely knew the calls. I barely knew the signals, so it's definitely slowed down, and summer helped a lot. I was able to, kind of get by myself and really learn the playbook a lot, so I think that's what helped.
Was it just not understanding the playbook, or just kind of quite seeing what the offense was doing? What was the hardest thing to kind of get on speed?
Honestly, it was just a big jump from high school to college. Playing both sides of the ball in high school, I didn't really have a whole lot of opportunity to really learn defense as much as I do now. I was kind of balancing both offense and defense. So now that I'm in college now, I'm able to more focus on defense and kind of understanding what I'm supposed to do, what the offense is going to do in certain formations and stuff like that.
Carter of Greenville News. How has Barrett, Carter, and Wade Woodaz kind of helped ease that transition from high school to college for you throughout preseason and the summer?
They've been mentors for me. Barrett was my host on my OV, and ever since that, he's just kind of been a mentor to me on studying film, practice habits, stuff like that. And him and Wade have really stepped up in a leadership role this spring and summer, and I'm proud of them. They've done a really good job, and they've just kind of helped me come along.
So you're able to hear the coaches' calls and stuff like that. How much study did it take to get to the point where you knew the defense so well they could give you that green dot and feel comfortable doing that?
I don't have a green dot. I don't know where that came from, but yeah. I talked to Coach Goodwin after he said that, and Coach Goodwin was like, I don't know where that came from, but usually they give the green dots to the guys like R.J. Mickens that have been in the system for a while, and they know, first and 10, second and 3, this is what the offense is going to do, this formation they're going to do that. So they really give it to those people that really know what's going to happen.
I guess then how much more advanced do you feel like in terms of the playbook and the understanding of it? Do you know every call what you're supposed to do? You feel now, and what does it take to get to that point?
I feel like I've had a really good jump from the spring to fall camp. Really in the spring, it was all about, all right, what do I do in this call? Locked in on what I'm doing in my calls, and kind of when we got to fall camp, it was more, okay, what is the defense here? What are the people on the back end doing? What's the D-line doing? So I feel like it's kind of expanded. I've kind of gotten a more knowledgeable understanding of what's going on.
One of the things the guys noticed about you in the spring was your work ethic in the gym. I guess what is that mentality of squad, do all those things in the gym that kind of makes them be like, whoa, this is a freshman doing all of these kind of crazy things.
That mentality, again, came from my dad. He's kind of always pushed me in the weight room. I've been in the weight room, honestly, since 5th, 6th grade. So he's kind of instilled that on me that really, especially at linebacker, you're not going to be able to play a whole lot if you're not strong and you're not fast. And a lot of that comes from the weight room. So I've kind of got that mindset that what goes on in the weight room is going to contribute to the field.
Kind of going back and rewatching the game, there was a play where you went from the middle of the field, maybe chasing the quarterback to the sideline. Long run, got to show off that speed. They cut to you, and I saw a big smile. How much fun is that for you to finally just go out there and let loose?
I mean, it's like I said earlier, it's been a long time coming, and I'm very blessed to be in the situation that I'm in. I'm very excited to be here, and I wouldn't rather be anywhere else.
Have you tried to talk them into punting or playing running back at all?
I think my punting days are over, honestly. That was really a high school thing, and I don't know how I hit the ball so hard, but maybe running back if they want to try something. I'm not opposed to that.
I know you saw it all in the recruiting visits and you were aware of what's here, but when you look at Clemson and these facilities and, you know, like the 100 yards of wellness and everything that's offered to you guys, what's it been like to get here and use that stuff, and how different is it to actually have those sorts of resources available to you?
I mean, it's such a blessing because we really don't know what we have until we don't have it. You know, Coach Sweeney talks all the time about people in the NFL, they have to pay for this stuff, and we get it for free. So it's a real blessing that we have such great facilities.
Is there anything in particular that has become your go-to?
Honestly, almost every day I'm going to get in the infrared and then get a gun. Almost every day.
Looking at you guys as a team, how much are you guys still, as a group, as a freshman class, kind of doing your freshman classy things, and how much is it now you're in your position group, so you're out of it? But how has that group stayed together from the group chat days?
I mean, we still have the group chat. We still talk all the time, but, you know, we still are freshmen. We've still got to go to 8 a.m. classes every day, so we're still coming along. I wouldn't say that we're kind of mature yet, but we're definitely coming along.
Oh, how cool was it to see, like, darn near everybody get out there this week? Does that do a lot for you guys just as a group?
I was really happy to see everybody get a chance. At one point, it was me, Drew Woodaz, and C.J. Cooper-Taylor all on the field at the same time, so it was really cool to see a 3 freshman linebacker out there together.
Grace Man with TigerNet.com. Just mentioned sort of the moments where the game starts to slow down for you. Was there something in fall camp or maybe on Saturday where you felt like gaps started to get a grasp of what it's like to be playing college football?
Well, honestly, when I first got there on Saturday, it was still a little fast. It was a little faster than it was in practice. But once you get into the game and you've played a couple snaps, you know, obviously it was my first game, so it's going to be a little fast. But I feel like it slowed down a little bit. But a lot of what made the game slow down was just studying this summer, getting in the playbook and kind of applying it, not really just reading over, but applying, like, in this call I've got this and it's this kind of defense. So I feel like I took a really good step this summer.
What did you do well Saturday?
I thought the best thing that I did was fly to the ball, but I've definitely got a lot of stuff that I've got to work on. I was a little hesitant, but that was just because it was my first game. So as good as the stat book looked, I do have a lot of things I have to work on, and, you know, came back to work yesterday and focusing on, you know, having my eyes in the right spot, being more aggressive to the ball, and just, you know, being an overall more complete player.
You hate to hear about Kobe, suffering from the injury, but, you know, do you see this as an opportunity? I mean, now you're going to have to step it up maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really bad for Kobe because he had a really good fall camp, and, you know, he had been coming along. I was really proud of him, and I texted him yesterday and just let him know that everything happens for a reason. God's going to let things happen for a reason, but I do see it as an opportunity. I mean, I've got to step up and take that role because he goes down, so I feel like this comes with great responsibility to fill his shoes.
Any questions for Sammy virtually?
Hey, Sammy. Fowler at the state. Just with a little bit of hindsight now, can you kind of take us back through your high school recruiting process and why Clemson won out over everybody else?
The biggest thing for me about Clemson is that it just felt right. I prayed about it, and I talked to my parents about it a lot, and in the end, I just felt like I couldn't be anywhere else. I felt like it was God's decision for me to be here, and I don't regret it at all.
And one more, Dabo mentioned that you were also the special teams MVP against App State. Just tell us about that part of your game and how important that is to kind of how you can contribute and why you're so willing to do that on special teams.
I just feel like the biggest thing that I can do for this team is contribute, and that could be in any way, if it's on defense, if it's on special teams. So if there's any way that I can make this team better, that's what I'm going to do, and it just happened to be on special teams on Saturday.
Anybody else for Sammy?
Your younger brother Max, like he's coming up in the ranks, I guess. Where do you see him in his progression so far, and where does he compare to you at that stage and in 10th grade?
As much as I don't want to admit it, I think he's better than me than I was in 10th grade. He's really developed a lot this summer. He played a lot of, defensive end last year for us in high school just because that's where he was getting on the field. So he's taken a big step this spring and this summer and, changing into inside backer, and I've been really proud of him. He's had a great sophomore season so far.
We were talking to Grayson McCall at the ACC kickoff, and he was talking about how he shaved his mullet at one point. Everybody told him to bring it back. Like, could you ever imagine a day where you don't have that, or is that an essential part of it?
If I ever cut my mullet, I'm going straight to a buzz cut. Probably bleaching it too.
That's no time soon.
Hopefully not.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Sammy.
Sweet.